You say you have a solid margin. Again, we have seen concerns about demand for electric car vehicles actually slowing. How much do you expect that to slow down by?
Look, I think that if you look at the thing long term, EV will be a dominant technology in Europe, also because of regulation, especially CAFE regulation that people tend to, forget, where you need to achieve a very low level of average fleet consumption. So we might have some bumps on the roads as we are experiencing right now, but long term, this will fly. That's for sure. We think 2024 is probably a bit tricky year, but 2025 you will see again the thing picking up because everybody will have to match the targets in 2025. So that's my view on the thing. We shouldn't doubt about the fact that EV will be a dominant technology in Europe. Maybe not the only one, okay, but it will be very, very strong, I think.
But is there anything actually that would help move the needle to try and reignite demand in the shorter term?
Look, I think it depends on I think one of the things we're doing this year is that we're introducing new cars. Normally, product offer always helps, especially because we are bringing a small car next generation EV platform. So these are cars that are much more affordable than what we've seen so far. So normally it should boost volume, at least in our case. So we think we're going to be, even in complicated times, relatively anti-cyclical from this respect. So, and then we will have to see how different governments are subsidizing. We see, for example, Germany that pulled off the thing, but on the other side, other countries are like Italy or France are investing into the thing. So all in all, I believe that we will continue to grow. In fact, in a few years, we went from 0 to 16% of EV mix in Europe. No technology has done that before in the history of automotive so fast. So we shouldn't only look at the outside of the dark side of the thing.
Yeah, talking about the half side, so you abandoned the IPO of your EV unit, Ampere. Do you think that this could once again be IPO'd, or would you change your mind in the next 2 years?
Look, right now we are focusing on trying to make sure that everything we promised on the Capital Market Day in November would be delivered, right? So cost reduction, massive cost reduction, very efficient manufacturing operation, launching the products that we want to launch, 6 or 7 cars for Ampere. So I think that's the fact that we're not busy with the IPO preparation is actually giving us a little bit more time to focus on the job that has to be done. So we're pretty cool and relaxed. At the end of the day, you've seen the results that Renault has delivered. So we have all the money we need to finance, the Ampere ramp up. So we are okay. I think we made a decision because the mood is not the right one at this moment in the markets, and I think it's very wise, cool-headed decision. And let's see what happens. The most important thing is that we can bring profitable and good cars for the customers, and we will.
When are you planning? And you will. When are you planning to sell the next tranche of Nissan shares? Does that need to be sooner because you're not IPOing Ampere?
No. I think the process started we already sold 5% last year, and then we will look at the right moment, the right condition. We try to do it in a coordinated way with our friends and colleagues from Nissan. So the process, I cannot fix a date right now, but I can only confirm that gradually we will, go down into the thing as we promised, and we did it already. So it shows that we are serious about monetizing those shares.
But we can expect something in the next couple of quarters without having a specific date. Can you give us more idea of how you think about the timeline?
Yeah, it's a kind of a sensitive information because then it gets into, things that we have to share with auditors, et cetera, et cetera. So leave us, the freedom to decide when to do it based on the conditions. So, but the process started, we proved last year, and for sure there will be something, coming up relatively soon on that. But we have to coordinate with them also.
Your ambition is to create an Airbus of autos. Can you update us on speaking to some of your competitors to actually share this platform? Is Volkswagen on board?
Look, we have. I think I've always done the small cars. No, I like small cars. Of course, I like also big cars and sports cars and all kind of them. But I think that we've been a little bit like under investing in Europe for a number of reasons on cars that are compact, that can be very useful in urban environment. So the market on the what we call technically the A segment was divided by three in the last 15 years. I think there's no secret. If you want to lower the impact of automotive, you need to also use a small car, especially in dense urban environments. So what we are trying to do is to bring, technology, a platform, and the concept of a project where we can sell a car for below 20,000 euro, an EV car for 20,000 euro and less, and make money. And there are not many initiatives like this. So this thing becomes interesting to other competitors that might want to jump on the opportunity, and we are giving that to others. So we're discussing, left and right. I cannot confirm you any, rumor on the thing, but we are very open to share, that kind of investment, because it's very difficult to make money with small cars, and we're trying to find a way because it's good for the environment and it's good for the.
The chief executive of Stellantis also told Bloomberg that actually he's looking at pursuing possible M&A, possible consolidation with friendly automakers. Do you foresee a future where this would make sense, a merger between Renault and Stellantis?
Look, I think that we are focused on other things. We're trying to. I don't think that it is, if you want, only one recipe for success. I mean, it could be consolidation, it could be, as we are trying to do, to invest in innovation, to define and to develop a company that is more agile, more oriented to innovation, more sticking to the value chains that might grow into the future. That has been our strategy so far, and it proves to work, right? So I'm focusing on trying to, move Renault into the future and make sure that Renault will more and more depend from businesses that are new businesses that have growth and, structural double-digit profitability. And as I said, so far, so good, and that's what we're interested in. It doesn't mean that consolidation in general could not be one way for OEMs to compete. For example, we did it in the case of Horse together with Geely on the ICE, let's say, technology, so in the combustion engine technology, because this is a mature technology, so it makes sense to put things together, to put efforts and assets together to find activity but on innovative things, but
Mr. De Meo,
realization and focus.
Yeah, you're considered one of the most able managers to turn companies around. But if there's a consolidation phase and Renault is not part of it, what happens to the company in 10 years? I mean, do you need to get bigger? Do you need to merge if competitors are merging?
But look, we are making much more money selling much less car than used to before. So it doesn't mean that being bigger makes you stronger. This is what I think, right? Of course, size in a very capital intensive sector like automotive is a necessary condition, but I'm not sure it's the sufficient right now in a time where volatility is dominating, demands, and where technology is very evolutionary. So I think that you also need that, right? And I've been hearing and practicing that kind of mantra that consolidation would be the ultimate solution for everything for 30 years. So I'm 30 years into this sector, and in fact, what you see, everybody was saying 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there would be only 3 groups, 5 groups surviving in the world. Yeah. And then in the meantime, you have 150 companies that emerge in China. So when you look at the list of companies operating in the sector, it's actually much longer than it used to be. So who is right?